She said, "I've been secretly filming us in the bedroom for memories. Don't worry, it's private." Then I found her subscriber-only account. I replied, "Interesting hobby." Then I contacted a lawyer, reported the platform, and filed criminal charges. When the FBI's cybercrimes unit contacted her about federal charges, I, 31, male, found out by complete accident. My girlfriend Natalie, 29, and I had been together for 2 years, living together for 8 months. Things were good, or so I thought. She worked in social media marketing, always had her phone out, always creating content. I figured that was just her job. Last Tuesday, I was homesick. Natalie was at work. My laptop died mid-email, so I grabbed hers from the bedroom. She told me her password months ago for emergencies. No big deal. I opened Chrome. Her email was logged in. A notification popped up in the corner. Payment processed, $847.32 from something called FanVault Premium. I didn't recognize it. I thought maybe it was a work thing, some platform she managed for clients. I clicked the notification out of curiosity. It opened to a creator dashboard. My stomach dropped. The header image was our bedroom, our actual bedroom, recognizable wallpaper and everything. Profile name, Naughty Nap Private. Subscriber count, 183. I sat there for maybe a full minute, not moving. Then I clicked into the content library. Videos. Dozens of videos, all time-stamped over the past 6 months. All of us in our bedroom. Intimate moments I thought were private. Some were shot from her nightstand. I could see the angle. Others from what looked like her dresser. She'd been using her phone to record us, then uploading it. The descriptions made me want to throw up. Watch me with my boyfriend who has no idea he's being filmed. Secret recording. He thinks we're alone. I closed the laptop, walked to the bathroom, and threw up. Then I sat on the couch and tried to think. She'd been filming me without consent, posting it online, making money from it. That's a crime. That's a serious crime. When Natalie got home at 6 p.m., I was still on the couch, laptop closed on the coffee table. "Hey babe, feeling better?" "Natalie, we need to talk." She set down her bag. "What's wrong?" I opened the laptop and turned it to face her. "Want to explain this?" Her face went white, then red, then back to white. You went through my computer? You've been filming us without telling me and posting it online? It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. There are 183 people paying to watch videos you recorded of me without my permission. She started crying. "I was going to tell you, I needed the money. Okay, my student loans are killing me, and this was easy money, and I didn't think you'd find out." "You didn't think I'd find out that you committed a crime?" "It's not a crime, it's just content creation." I actually laughed. No humor in it. "It's absolutely a crime. It's called non-consensual pornography, and since you're making money from it, it's probably a bunch of other crimes too. You're overreacting. Lots of couples do this. Couples who both consent. You never asked me, because I knew you'd say no." The logic was staggering. "Get out." "What?" "Get out of my apartment, now. You can't kick me out. I live here. The lease is in my name. You're not on it. Get out." She grabbed some clothes, still crying, saying I was being cruel and unreasonable. Said we could work through this, that I was throwing away 2 years over nothing. I just stood there until she left. Then I called a lawyer. Update 1. 1 week later. The lawyer's name was Mr. Hoffman, mid-50s, specialized in digital privacy cases. I showed him everything. "This is serious," he said. "Federal serious. She's violated multiple laws." He listed them. State revenge porn laws, wire fraud. She transmitted the content across state lines via the internet. Copyright infringement. I own rights to my own image. Potential tax evasion if she didn't report the income. "We need to report this immediately," he said, "to the platform, to law enforcement, and potentially to federal authorities." First step, he sent a legal notice to FanVault demanding immediate removal of all content featuring me and disclosure of how much money she'd made. FanVault responded in 48 hours. They took down the content and provided financial records. $31,847.62 over 6 months. She'd made over $31,000 filming me without consent. Second step, filed a police report. The detective, Officer Williams, was professional, but I could tell he was uncomfortable. "This happens more than you'd think," he said. Usually we see it after breakups, revenge scenarios. During the relationship is less common, but just as illegal. He took my statement, took the evidence, said he'd pass it to the DA. Third step, Mr. Hoffman contacted the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3. Because the content was distributed online across state lines and involved financial gain, it qualified for federal investigation. While all this was happening, Natalie started her campaign. First, she sent mutual friends messages. He kicked me out over a misunderstanding. I made some content for extra money and he's acting like I committed murder, so controlling. Some friends believed her. Started sending me messages about being unreasonable. I replied to exactly one. She filmed me in intimate situations without my knowledge or consent and sold that content online to 183 subscribers. That's not a misunderstanding, that's a crime. My lawyer has advised me not to discuss this further. That friend apologized, told others. The narrative shifted. Second, her mom called me. Luis, Natalie is devastated. She made a mistake, but you're ruining her life over this. Can't you just forgive her? She committed multiple crimes against me, I said. I didn't ruin her life. She ruined it herself. She said it was just a few videos, $31,000 worth, and that's after the platform took their cut. Silence. She made that much? Yes, by violating my privacy and breaking several federal laws. But she's my daughter. You're going to send her to jail? I'm not sending her anywhere. The legal system will decide what happens based on what she did. She hung up on me. Third, Natalie herself tried to contact me. Email since I blocked her number. Luis, please. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. But we can fix this. I'll give you all the money. I'll delete everything. Just please drop the charges. I can't go to jail, please. I forwarded it to Mr. Hoffman without responding. Don't respond to anything, he advised. Let the legal process handle it. 2 days ago, I got a call from an FBI agent, Special Agent Rodriguez. Mr. Williams, I'm calling regarding your complaint filed with IC3. We've reviewed the evidence and we're opening a federal investigation. I'll need you to come in for a formal interview. The FBI. The actual FBI was investigating my ex-girlfriend. The interview was yesterday. 2 agents. Rodriguez and someone named Agent Park. They asked detailed questions. Timeline. What I knew, when I found out, what Natalie said. Did she ever mention doing this with previous partners? Agent Rodriguez asked. No, but I don't know. We'll be looking into that. If there's a pattern, that affects the charges. They showed me more evidence they'd pulled. Natalie had been active on 3 different platforms, not just FanVault. Total earnings closer to $50,000. Jesus, I said, she's created a business out of this. Agent Park nodded. That's going to be a problem for her legally. Update 2. 3 weeks later, the DA filed state charges last week, 4 counts, 1 unlawful surveillance, 2 distribution of private intimate images without consent, 3 wire fraud, 4 invasion of privacy. Natalie's bail was set at $15,000. She made it somehow. Then the federal charges dropped. The FBI's investigation found she'd been doing this for over 2 years, with 2 previous boyfriends before me. They found them. Both filed complaints after being contacted by investigators. One guy, Austin, called me through Mr. Hoffman. Dude, I had no idea she did this to anyone else, he said. I thought it was just me. I was too embarrassed to report it at the time. I thought it was just me too, I said. The other guy didn't want contact, but his statement was part of the case file. Federal charges against Natalie. 1. Production of unauthorized intimate visual content. 2. Distribution across state lines. Wire fraud. 3. Aggravated identity theft. She used our images for commercial gain without consent. Each charge carried 2 to 5 years. They stack. She was looking at potentially 15 to 20 years if convicted on everything. Her lawyer tried to negotiate, offered to plead guilty to state charges if federal charges were dropped. The FBI said no. Then the entitlement really ramped up. Natalie's mom started a social media campaign. Posted about how the justice system was failing young women trying to make a living and how I was weaponizing the law to hurt someone I claimed to love. Left out the whole filming without consent part. My mom found it and called me furious. Who is this woman and why is she lying about you online? I explained the whole situation. My mom went nuclear. posted her own response. This young woman committed multiple felonies against my son by filming him in intimate situations without his knowledge or permission, then sold that content online for profit. That's not trying to make a living. That's a crime. Delete this disgusting post. Mrs. Taus deleted everything within an hour. Natalie's friends tried a different approach. One girl, Bethany, showed up at my apartment. "Luis, you need to drop this. Do you know what prison will do to her? She's not a criminal. She committed crimes against me and at least 2 other people," I said. "That makes her a criminal." "It was just videos?" "Videos she made without consent and sold for money. How is this hard to understand?" "She didn't mean any harm. Intent doesn't matter. She knew what she was doing was wrong. That's why she hid it and why her description specifically mentioned I didn't know." Bethany tried the guilt angle. "She's talking about suicide. If something happens to her, that's on you." I pulled out my phone and dialed. 911? "What's your emergency?" "My ex-girlfriend's friend just informed me she's suicidal. Can you do a wellness check?" Bethany's face went pale. "I didn't mean—" "You can't just threaten that and walk away," I said. "If you contact me again, I'll file for a restraining order." She left. The preliminary hearing was last Tuesday. I had to testify. Face Natalie for the first time since I kicked her out. She looked terrible. Lost weight, dark circles, hair a mess. Part of me felt bad, a small part. Then I remembered she'd filmed me without consent over 80 times. Sold those videos, made $50,000, and only stopped because she got caught. The prosecutor asked me questions. When did I find out? How did I feel? Did I ever consent? No, never. I didn't even know she was filming until I found the account by accident. The defense attorney tried to suggest I must have known because the camera angles were obvious. I trusted her, I said. When you trust someone, you don't spend intimacy looking for hidden cameras. The judge wasn't buying the defense's arguments, bound her over for trial on all charges. As we left the courthouse, Mrs. Taus screamed at me from across the plaza. "You're destroying my baby's life. She made a mistake, one mistake." Mr. Hoffman stepped between us. "Mrs. Taus, if you continue harassing my client, we will seek a restraining order and add witness intimidation to the charges against your daughter." She shut up real quick. That night, I got an email from Natalie's lawyer, a settlement offer. She'd plead guilty to 2 state charges, serve probation, pay me $60,000, all her earnings plus damages, and register as a sex offender. In exchange, I'd write a letter to the federal prosecutor requesting leniency. I stared at it for a while, then called Mr. Hoffman. "What do you think?" "Honestly," he said, "the federal case is strong. She's going to prison regardless, but this guarantees you financial compensation and a conviction on record. It's your call." I thought about it all night. Update 3. Final resolution. I turned down the settlement, not out of vengeance, just principle. She committed federal crimes multiple times against multiple people. The pattern mattered. If I let her plead down, I told Mr. Hoffman, what message does that send? That if you do this to enough people, it's fine as long as you apologize when caught? He paused. "I understand. We'll proceed to trial." The trial was 2 months later. Federal court. Austin testified too. So did the other guy, Derek, via video. The prosecution was thorough. They showed how Natalie had systematically filmed 3 different men over 2 years, how she'd created multiple accounts under different names, how she'd advertised specifically that the content was secret and non-consensual to attract subscribers who got off on that. That part made my skin crawl. The violation wasn't just about privacy. She'd marketed our non-consent as a feature. Her defense tried to argue she didn't understand the law, that she thought since she was in the videos too, she had the right to post them. The prosecutor demolished that. The defendant's own descriptions prove she knew what she was doing was wrong. She specifically told subscribers these men didn't know they were being filmed. That's consciousness of guilt. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was 3 weeks later. Federal charges. 8 years in federal prison. State charges running concurrent. Luis. She also has to pay $180,000 in restitution split between me, Austin, and Derek. Register as a sex offender for life. Forfeit all equipment used, her phones, laptop, cameras. No unsupervised internet access for 10 years post-release. The judge was harsh. "Miss Taus, you committed a profound violation of trust against 3 men who cared about you. You didn't do this once in a moment of poor judgment. You built a business out of violating others' privacy. The victims here deserve to feel safe in intimate settings, and you destroyed that. Natalie sobbed through the whole thing. Her mom wailed in the gallery. I felt empty, not happy, not sad, just tired. Outside the courthouse, a reporter tried to interview me. How do you feel about the verdict? Relieved it's over, I hope this serves as a warning that this behavior has serious consequences. That made the local news. I got a few messages calling me a hero. I ignored those too. I'm not a hero, I'm just someone who refused to let a crime slide. The aftermath has been messy. I lost some friends who think I went too far by not accepting the plea deal. Whatever. People who think 8 years for systematically violating 3 people is too harsh aren't people I need around. My family was supportive. My dad said, "You did the right thing. The hard thing and the right thing are usually the same thing." Austin and I got coffee a few weeks after sentencing. Strange bonding over shared trauma. "Did you ever think she'd actually go to prison?" he asked. Honestly, no. I thought she'd plead out, get probation, maybe some community service. But when the feds got involved and found out about you and Derek, it became bigger than just me. Think she'll actually do the full 8, probably out in 6 with good behavior. But the sex offender registry is forever. He nodded. Good. Derek sent me an email thanking me for pursuing charges. Said he'd been too afraid to report it when it happened to him because he thought no one would believe a man could be victimized this way. Seeing the prosecution take it seriously helped him process what happened. That made it feel worth it. The financial restitution is being paid from the seized accounts. $60,000 for me. Same for Austin and Derek. It doesn't undo what happened, but it's something. I moved apartments last month. Too many memories in the old place. Every time I walked into that bedroom, I felt violated all over again. The new place is smaller, but it's mine. No cameras I don't know about. I started therapy. The therapist says what I'm experiencing is normal. Trust issues, anxiety about intimacy, hypervigilance about my surroundings, all expected after this kind of violation. You may never feel completely comfortable being filmed again, even consensually, she said. That's okay. You're allowed to have boundaries. I deleted all social media except Reddit. Too easy for people to find me otherwise. My dating life is complicated now. Hard to trust. Hard to be vulnerable. The few times I've tried talking to someone new, I end up sabotaging it because I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Therapy is helping with that. Last week I got a letter from Natalie, forwarded through the system, my address redacted. 3 pages of apologies, how she never meant to hurt me, how she's getting help in prison, how she hopes someday I can forgive her. I read it once, then shredded it. Maybe someday I'll forgive her. Not for her sake, but for mine. But that day isn't today. Today I'm just trying to move forward. To remember that most people aren't like her. That intimacy can be safe. That I deserve privacy and respect. The legal system worked slowly, painfully, but it worked. She's in prison. She'll carry the consequences of her actions for the rest of her life. Is that justice? I don't know, but it's accountability, and maybe that's enough. To anyone reading this who's experienced something similar, report it. I almost didn't because I was embarrassed. Because I thought people wouldn't take a male victim seriously. Because I thought it wasn't that bad. It is that bad. It's a crime. You deserve justice too. And to anyone thinking about doing what Natalie did, don't. The few thousand isn't worth spending years in federal prison and being on a registry forever. Get a real job. That's it. That's my story.